Shabbat Shalom. This is Rabbi Simon. A happy Sabbath to you. Today I wanted to look at one in the book of Matthew, and I'd just like to go over it so that you understand what it actually is that it's saying and what it means. So, in Matthew chapter 13, let's see. In verse 12, Matthew chapter 13, verse 12, we have this phrase or this particular verse which has been very troubling for many people because of what it says. And let me go through it. For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. So that's very troubling to a lot of people, because they thought, to them it felt that it's saying, if somebody has money, somebody is wealthy, they will be given more wealth. But if somebody who doesn't have wealth, somebody who doesn't have money, or maybe they have less of it, even what they have will be taken away. And a lot of people felt that isn't that unfair of God to do that? Already the person doesn't have enough money, and then God will take away what he doesn't have. So the law of attraction people, they came up with the phrase that if you have a lack mentality, then that means that what you have will be taken away because of the lack mentality. If you have an abundance, then more will be given to you. However, there was still a problem, because it didn't quite explain this particular verse, what it actually meant. We were kind of puzzled. What does it mean that whoever has and whoever has not, etc.? What does it mean? And you're going to find this interesting, because one second, let me just look at something here. My computer is making a noise. See if I can get rid of that noise. A bell is going on here, and I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. Okay, so what does it mean to whoever has, to him more will be given? And does it actually go and apply this to a person with less money, that because they have less taken away? Is it to do with the lack theory? What does it actually mean? And for this, I believe that there are other gospels that never made it into the canon of the New Testament. These were gospels that were put away in the, I think, Nag Hammadi, some kind of place in Egypt, and they were placed over there, and there was a Gospel of Thomas over there as well. And if I don't know if I can do a search and see if it will actually give me that. Let me just see if I can search out Matthew 13:12, in the Gospel of Thomas, if it will allow me the kindness. See, Matthew, so this is what I'm told. The Gospel of Thomas does not contain an exact parallel to Matthew 13:12, which states, whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. So, again, it's not, let's see if it actually goes into, let's see, I just want to look. And by the way, Thomas is a person which is believed to have the person gone to India. He is the one who's supposed to have gone and, made the Christian population back in the day when India was one big country and used to be called, and he used to be more known by that name in the ancient times, not as India today. because then India split into several countries after that. So let's see. I'm trying to see if I can get that, and I don't see it. Okay, well, I'll tell you what it actually says. Because the Gospel of Thomas, I thought it might actually have a comparison of Matthew chapter 13. That's Matthew chapter 12, or Matthew chapter 12 verse 13. Nope, I don't see it. I don't see it here. So Matthew chapter 13 rather, because there are some interesting parallels. There's some parables that have some extra wording in the Gospel of Thomas, but then maybe that was the reason why they were not included, or maybe there were other reasons. I guess we'll probably never know why they didn't include them. Jesus said, "Let him who has grown rich be king, and let him who possesses power renounce it." These are like some of the sayings of Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas. So let me actually give it to you what it actually says there, and let me go back to the Matthew chapter 13, parable of the sower, and let's come back to verse 12. So the present, the Gospels have been translated. Say, "For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him." So have what exactly? Have what? It doesn't tell you what it has, what that person, he or she, should have. So the clue is given in the gospel, in some of the other Gospels that were classed as, I think, extra canon, or however you class them. So what was missing was whoever has gratitude. Now let me reread it with that word in there. "For whoever has gratitude, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance. But whoever does not have gratitude, even what he has will be taken away from him." Note that in the Psalms, a lot of Psalms are directed towards the praise of God. Gratitude. So it's not talking about money, like if you have less money, it will be taken away. That's the wrong way to look at it. It's saying that if you have less gratitude, then what you have will be removed from you. In other words, the small amount of money that you have, because you're not thankful, that will be taken away from you. Now, if you have more of something and you're grateful, then more will be given to you. That's the actual essence of that word or that particular verse. So it is very important that we understand this, because where are we going with this? We are going with this towards gratitude. If I don't give gratitude for God's goodness in my life, and it doesn't have to be just about money. Abundance is all around us. You might live in an estate, in a place where you have a lot of trees around you. You might have a lot of fields around you. Like in Ohio, a lot of fields, a lot of trees. Christmas trees, I guess. Those kind of snow-style trees. So what if you live in New York? You will have a lot of buildings around you. But what is a building, and what is a tree, and what is a field? That's abundance. Because imagine if you went to purchase one of these fields, how much that will cost you? It will be very expensive. Similarly, if you went to purchase a building in New York, that will be very expensive. So there is abundance all around you. So it's not just talking about abundance or money that you have, also around you. And I have found that a lot of people happen to be ungrateful to God for various reasons. and maybe the reason is that they don't have a good job, or maybe the reason is that they are perhaps living in a place which is, not affluent, or maybe it's the projects or whatever. There may be several reasons. So the missing part is that you need to give gratitude for everything that you have. Your breath, the food that you eat, the clothes that you wear, the shoes that you wear, the water that you drink, the oxygen that we breathe in, everything we should be giving thanks to God for that. The reason is simple, because when we give thanks, we'll get more of it. So gratitude will give you more of it. Even the money that you have, even if it's a smaller amount, keep giving gratitude, keep giving thanks to God, and God will multiply it, bless it to more. That's actually the essence of Matthew 13 verse 12. That's what it actually is saying. Now, another thing that I wanted to tell you, which will help you, is that treat money like your girlfriend. Yes. Treat money like your girlfriend if you're a man. And I guess if you're a woman, you can still treat money like your girlfriend as well. The reason why I say that is you need to show love to that money. Yes, you might say, well, but Rabbi, that's a piece of paper. Yeah, it's a piece of paper. But the piece of paper is not just a piece of paper, it's energy, energetic. You are showing there is life in that piece of paper, because it's energy. When we break it at the molecular level, it's energy. Everything is energy, and everything is frequency. Everything has energy, and everything has frequency. If you can make the frequency of money, then you will start attracting more of it to your life. If you connect, let's say, to the frequency of love, then you start attracting more love into your life. A better, maybe, a nicer partner, a nicer wife or a husband, and somebody who loves you sincerely. That's what you would want. That is why you need to treat money with love and respect. I have seen, at least throughout my life, some people who put their money in their purse or their wallet and it's all over the place. They don't even straighten it. You should never do that. You should always keep your money, your bills, your notes straight, face forward. And ideally the bigger note should be at the front and the smallest at the back. That's how you should really place your notes in your wallet. If you want to be blessed and have abundance, if you want to attract money. Now you might say, how am I going to treat money as a female when, I don't know how to do that? Okay, it's very easy. The easiest thing to do is to close your eyes, take a few breaths, deep breaths, and then just show love, show love to the money. How do you do that? How do you show love to the money? I think the easiest thing to do, close your eyes and then imagine that you are with money, and imagine money is a woman or a girl, and you can clothe her in whichever way you want to. You can give her whatever figure you desire. She might be slim, she might be little bit full, however you decide to give color the money as a woman. And then you talk to her, talk to the money as you would talk to your wife, with love, of course. And I'm not talking about sexual language, I'm talking about language of love, language of respect. You can tell money that I love you and I want to thank you. Give gratitude to money as well, and I want to thank you that you have been able to take care of me You have been with me in places where I needed you. If you want to travel, if you want to go buy groceries, you can only do that when you have money. So you need to give respect to that money. A lot of people I find, they don't give respect to money. They are always complaining. They are always saying things like they are not rich because they never got the chances, and other people who are rich, they got the chances, or maybe they have connections and they don't have connections, but the other ones who got rich have connections, or maybe they're doing illegal so they can acquire the money, whereas this person who's complaining, they are not doing nothing illegal. So it's a combination of complaints directed at the person or persons who have the money. But then you're disrespecting money directly, because you're saying that the money you have is energy, right? If, let's say, Elon Musk, let's use Elon Musk as an example, or Donald Trump, the president, let's use him as an example. The money that he has is the same energy of the money that you have. Okay, he may be a billionaire, he may have more of it, and you may not have the $1 billion right now, you may have less of it in that respect, but your money and his money, your $10 and his $10 is the same energy. Your $100 note, his $100 note has the same energy. Doesn't matter whether the president is a billionaire, and doesn't matter if you are not yet a millionaire or a multimillionaire or a billionaire. It doesn't really matter, because both of those notes have both been produced from a tree, and they both carry the same energy signature. So why somebody like Elon Musk or Donald Trump or somebody else who's a businessman, because the president is a businessman first before he became a president, why would they have more of it and you have less of it? And I think the answer is very simple. If somebody else has less of it, that means that perhaps they got certain breaks in their life, but they never took that opportunity to investigate that break further. Maybe you had business opportunities, you didn't use them, and so you let them pass by. I can tell you that my father, when my dad was alive, he had many opportunities to go into business, but he never went into business. He was afraid. He was fearful that he might lose the business, the money might go down the drain, the business might incur losses. Even before he started the business, he had a lot of excuses that the money might go down into loss, and he would rather do a job. So he really worked all his life for somebody else. He slaved away. He was working first in a factory painting combine harvesters for a long time. Then he was driving a cab as well. So he really worked for somebody else all his life until retirement. Yet he had many opportunities, and I remember saying to my father that do this business or do that business, and my father would always tell me that no, he might lose the money, or he might make a mistake. He was always afraid of business. Whereas my uncle, on the other hand, my paternal uncle from the father's side, his sister's husband, he became a businessman. He was totally uneducated. My dad actually could read and write better than he could, and he was totally illiterate, yet that man became a businessman. And he had a flourishing business, both abroad and money back in UK, and he went back and forth running his business. He had other people running it for him, and even though he was illiterate, he had other people who were literate, who were educated. They were running his business for him, so he would just simply pay them. So he did not have the fear factor. He wasn't afraid of losing the money, and he made good money. So he left a good inheritance for his children. So the question is this, that fear. Yeah, so fear factor, anybody, not just my father, anybody who has a fear factor and they are afraid to go into business, that is the only way you can multiply your wealth. A surefire way to multiply your wealth is through business. And if you don't encourage yourself to do a business, how are you going to multiply your wealth working for somebody else when you have to, whether you're paid bi-weekly or monthly, every paycheck date, you got bills to pay, food to buy, and things to do with that money. And when that money turns up, you do all of that, you pay your bills, you buy your groceries, and if you are a tither, you tithe. And then what happens is, before the month is over, your money is run out because you're not really in business and you haven't got a surplus of money. Sure, you may get a break here and there, you may get a bonus, you may get other things happening, but you really haven't got ample amounts of cash to spend as you desire because you're not in business. So really, the only path is for you to be in business. Because if you are in business, then you will make ample amounts of cash, which you're not going to do it in your present sense. So abundance comes to those who are not afraid, who are not fearful. So from today, start giving thanks to the money that you have. Even if it's a lesser amount, it will start to multiply. Start to appreciate the money. Start to place it nicely in your wallet. And also, you might do the exercise I explained to you. Maybe for a minute, close your eyes, breathe in deep, and do a little visualization, imagination session. Maybe you hold a note in your hand, and you talk to yourself like you're talking to the money, like a woman, a girl, and you're telling that person that you love that person, you prove to them that they have been with you in all this life. Remember, this is your only girlfriend or your wife, because you have your physical wife, but then you have your money wife. This is your only wife, girlfriend, or friend, whichever way you take it, who has never left you. And when I mean never left you, you have been buying your food all this time, since you became conscious or somewhat mature. Maybe late in your teens, or maybe when you're 20 and you got married and you started a job. Whenever you started a job, if you were early, I was 16 when I started a job, and then I studied as well, and I continue to work. So you have to be grateful to that money. As a girlfriend, as a wife, that money took care of you. That money, she came to you. That energy came to you. Every week or every month or bi-weekly, it came to you. And you were able to utilize that money and buy your stuff. You were able to travel, you were able to go buy your groceries, you were able to buy your clothes, your telephone, and so on, so it goes. So, should you be grateful to that money or not? That's something that you must understand. So, start giving thanks for that money. And of course, once you give thanks to the money, who else do you give thanks to? The giver. The giver of that energy is God. God who sent that energy down. And so you give thanks to God as well. Not just the money, but to God as well. Both of them. You give thanks to the money and you give thanks to God. I would encourage you every day, and maybe you want to take a printout. I would encourage you to take a printout of Psalm 103. Every day when you wake up in the morning, you want to read Psalm 103, which is a thanksgiving psalm to God. You should read it every morning. Print it out. Laminate it. And another thing I would say to you is take a printout of some of your affirmations. whichever affirmations you love to speak in your mind or love to speak otherwise, make a printout of those as well. And maybe you can laminate one side of the paper with Psalm 103 and the other side of the paper with the affirmations that you love. And you combine it. So when you read one side is Psalm 103, when you read the other side is your affirmations, and make a habit of reading those. If you are not yet working, then I would read it every hour. But if you are a working man, woman, then I would read it in the morning and at night before you go to bed, twice a day. But I also, coming back to the quotation of Matthew 13, I wanted to read something else to you that also came out of the Gospels, the Gospels that were in the Nag Hammadi library. It says in there, and this is explaining that for whoever has, to him more will be given. It says, ask without a hidden motive, and be surrounded by your answer, and be enveloped by what you desire. Let me speak it again. Ask without a hidden motive, and be surrounded by your answer, and be enveloped by what you desire. So this is living in the end, by the way. This is the terminology that Neville Goddard and maybe other people after Neville Goddard had said, live in the end, and the feeling is the state. So ask without a hidden motive means that you're asking for whatever you're asking for, whether it's money, whether it's a object like a car or a house. You have no hidden motives. You're asking for love with a true motive of love. And it says surrounded by your answer. In other words, believe that God has already delivered it to you, and be enveloped by what you desire. So that's the envelope, that you continuously believe that. Let me read out an excerpt from the book that Neville Goddard wrote. It's called Your Faith is Your Fortune. Page 67. This is what it says. And by the way, this applies to both man and woman. Everything that man accepts, or woman, accepts as true leaves an impression on his consciousness and must in time be defined as proof or disproof. Perceptive hearing is the perfect medium through which man registers impressions. A man must discipline himself to hear only that which he wants to hear, regardless of rumors or the evidence of his senses to the contrary. As he conditions his perceptive hearing, he will react only to those impressions which he has decided upon. The law never fails. Fully conditioned man / woman becomes incapable of hearing other than that which contributes to his desire. God, as you have discovered, is that unconditioned awareness which gives you all that you're aware of being. To be aware of being or having anything is to be have, or that which you're aware of being. Upon this changeless principle, all things rest. It is impossible for anything to be other than that which it is aware of being. And then he quotes that verse, to him that hath, it shall be given, which he is aware of being, it shall be given, good, bad, or indifferent. It does not matter. Man receives multiplied 100-fold that which he is aware of being. In keeping with the changeless law, to him that had not, it shall be taken from him and added to the one that had. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. You can only magnify that which you're conscious of being. So, what does that actually mean? A lot of words. You can only get what you're conscious of being. What it means that if I am aware and conscious, and remember, awareness is the entrance gateway to God in my body. If I'm aware that God is the source of my supply, then of course, I will give thanks to God for that. If I'm aware of that, I will be able to give thanks to God because I'm aware that God is the source of my supply. One of my affirmations is, my supply is infinite. God is my supply. Supply can never fail me. I allow it, I receive it. See, this is an affirmation that you should also put on your sheet of paper and laminate it. My supply is infinite. God is my supply. Supply can never fail me. I allow it, I receive it. So whatever you declare in your life, that will be true to you because God will approve of that. God will approve of it. And I think it's important to understand that. And here are some affirmations which might help you, which I kind of picked up on my journey. Fortune favors me. I'm a powerful force of success. Opportunities chase me. I don't chase. What belongs to me finds me. Wealth flows to me like the Nile flows into the sea. By the way, when the Egyptian kings had their children, their kids, they were small, like they were the age of 6, 7, those ages, their priests, people who were priesthood to the Egyptian kings, they used to take these children to the river Nile, and they used to every day make them repeat this. Wealth flows to me like the Nile flows into the sea. And they made these children recite these affirmations because they knew that the children were young and impressionable, and if they keep saying the same repetition of affirmation over and over again, they will have it embedded in their mind, and these kids can never be poor, ever, because of what they are saying. So this is why I encourage you to, some of these affirmations that I've given you, I would put them on a sheet of paper and laminate it. Maybe you can add some of your own as well. I would encourage you to do that. So, really, again, depending on what you desire and what you want, some people want health. They're trying to get rid of some, illness. Some people want a relationship. Maybe they are alone. And some people want wealth in the form of money, house, car, etc. So, whatever it is that you are desiring, I want you to just make some affirmations and write them down or print them out, on this sheet of paper that will become your go-to every day, in the morning and in the evening, alongside Psalm 103 on one side of that sheet. Then it will help you to, the more you speak, the more you repeat, the more it will embed inside your head. And that's when you're going to see results. That is when you're going to see results. It's like, the best tennis players, the best footballers, or the best cricket players, or whatever field, martial arts, boxing, whatever field, the best player is usually that person that does repetition of his exercise. If he does a repetition of his exercise, he will be, highly likely to come out on top in that competition, in that particular game, than everybody else. Bruce Lee, also said that he doesn't fear the man who can do a variety of kicks and has practiced them 10,000 times. He doesn't fear that person, variety of kicks and punches. But he said he feared that man who practiced one kick 10,000 times, because then it might have become lethal. So if you want to become, great in every department of your life, I suggest that you do what I said about this laminated paper. On one side, Psalm 103, on the other side, your affirmations that you desire. Maybe you can use some of mine, and you can use some of the others. There's plenty. You can get these on the internet as well. There are books written on affirmations. Books are there as well. And you can ask the search engines, and they'll be able to, the AI-generated search engines can come up with affirmations for you as well. You just need to tell them what are you looking for, money, health, love, and they will make up some affirmations for you. So get that going in your life, and then start to believe it. Start to recite it, start to say it, start repeating it. It's like when we listen to a song, and because we listen to it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, we're happy to listen to it 10 times, in the car or whatever, or in the home, and yet, when it comes to affirmations, we don't have time. But if you're happy to listen to a song 50 times, and recite it, memorize it, yet should you not be doing that with the affirmations if you really want to get ahead in your life? So, think about that. These are things that will help you greatly. And so, I'm going to let you go now, and I will say that next week I will read a chapter from a book that a friend gave me, and I think that might be an eye-opener for you as well. It may help you in this department of abundance and how to go about getting things. So with that, have a wonderful Sabbath and a wonderful week ahead. Until next time, Shabbat Shalom to you. Shalom.